Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins All World. If you're a fan of rare coins and looking for ways to potentially make a fortune from your collection, you're in for a treat today. We're diving into one of the most interesting and valuable coins you might find, the 1964 United States 5-cent nickel. You might be thinking, it's just a nickel, right? But let me tell you, this coin holds some hidden treasures that can make collectors absolutely thrilled. So, stick around, because you won't want to miss the potential value this coin could bring to your collection. At first glance, the 1964 nickel might look like just another everyday coin, but when you take a closer look, you'll realize it's far more intriguing than it seems. It's easy to overlook coins like this, but this 1964 5-cent nickel is packed with history and potential value. So, let's break it down and talk about what makes this coin so special and why it could be worth thousands of dollars to the right collector. First off, let's take a look at the basics. The 1964 nickel features the iconic design of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag. The reverse shows a depiction of Jefferson's home, Monticello, which has been the hallmark of the nickel series for decades. Nothing too extraordinary here, right? So, what exactly sets this coin apart from others? The real story lies in its rarity, potential errors, and the condition it's in. Let's dive deeper into these elements. Point one of the things that make the 1964 nickel so special is the potential for minting errors. Coin collectors know that errors can take an ordinary coin and turn it into something extremely valuable. In the case of the 1964 nickel, there are a few key errors that can make this coin highly sought after in the collector community. These errors can make the coin more rare and more valuable, so let's talk about the most common types of mistakes that could increase the price point. One of the most exciting errors you might find on a 1964 nickel is known as a double die. This is when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing the design to appear twice or double. This can happen to both the obverse and reverse of the coin, and it's especially noticeable on the date or letters on the coin. A double die error can be subtle at times, so it's important to closely examine the coin for any signs of doubling or distortion. If you come across a 1964 nickel with this error, congratulations. This is a major find and can significantly increase the value of the coin. Another error that can make the 1964 nickel more valuable is a repunched mint mark. The mint mark on the 1964 nickel tells you where the coin was made, either in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, sometimes during the minting process, the mint mark is struck multiple times, creating a repunched effect. This error often appears on the mint mark itself, so you'll need to carefully examine it. If you find a 1964 nickel with a repunched mint mark, you've got a highly sought-after coin in your hands. Aside from these minting errors, the condition of the coin is also a huge factor in determining its value. As with any collectible item, the better the condition, the higher the value. Coins in pristine condition, with minimal wear and no scratches, dents, or discoloration, are always more valuable than coins that show heavy signs of use. If you've got a 1964 nickel that looks as if it was just pulled out of a minting press, you may be sitting on a small fortune. Coins that are in excellent condition are highly prized by collectors, and if the 1964 nickel happens to be one of the rare error varieties we just talked about, the value could be staggering. Now, let's talk about how much a 1964 nickel can actually be worth. A regular 1964 nickel might only be worth its face value, just 5 cents. But if you come across a coin with a rare minting error or in near-perfect condition, you could see its value skyrocket. In fact, a well-preserved 1964 nickel with a doubling error, repunched mint mark, or another rare feature has been known to fetch upwards of $54,000, yes, that's right, $54,000 for a single 1964 nickel. While it may seem unbelievable, it's important to understand that the rarity and condition of a coin can massively affect its market value. Collectors who specialize in error coins or rare varieties are often willing to pay top dollar for these types of coins, so if you happen to find one in your collection or during your coin hunts, you might just have a rare treasure on your hands. Of course, not every 1964 nickel is going to be worth $54,000, but it's a good reminder that even seemingly ordinary coins can hold incredible value if they have the right characteristics. If you believe you found a rare 1964 nickel, it's worth having it professionally graded. A professional grading service will assign the coin a grade based on its condition, and that will help determine its market value. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. So, what should you do if you find a 1964 nickel with a minting error or in great condition? First, make sure to handle the coin with care. The last thing you want to do is damage it further. Avoid cleaning it, as this can often decrease its value. Instead, carefully inspect the coin for any errors or signs of wear and tear. Once you've identified its characteristics, consider having it graded by a professional. This will ensure that the coin is properly evaluated and given the value it deserves. To sum it all up, the 1964 United States 5-cent nickel may seem like an ordinary coin, but for the right collector, it holds an incredible amount of value. Whether it's due to a rare minting error or its excellent condition, this coin could be worth thousands of dollars. If you come across a 1964 nickel with a double die, repunched mint mark, or another minting error, or if it's in fantastic shape, you could be holding on to a coin worth up to $54,000. So, if you haven't already, take a closer look at your coin collection or any change you have lying around. You might just find a rare gem that could make you a lot of money. Today's video is one you absolutely don't want to miss. We're going to talk about a coin that many of you might have casually overlooked, but believe me, this little 5-cent piece has the potential to make you a lot of money. I'm talking about the 1985 United States 5-cent nickel. That's right, this seemingly simple nickel could be worth much more than just a nickel if you know what to look for. Now, you might be wondering, why would a 1985 nickel be valuable? It's just a coin from the 80s. And at first glance, it might look like an ordinary piece of currency. But what if I told you that certain 1985 nickels have rare features or errors that can turn them into prized collectibles? That's exactly what we're diving into today. So, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll have a whole new perspective on those little 5-cent coins. Let's start with the basics. The 1985 nickel is part of the series that features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag. On the reverse, you'll find a depiction of Jefferson's home, Monticello. This design has been on the nickel since 1938 and is recognized by collectors worldwide. While the design itself might not be what makes the 1985 nickel particularly valuable, there are a few key features and errors that can give this coin a significant boost in value. Now, one of the main things that collectors are always on the lookout for is minting errors. These errors can occur when a coin is struck improperly, and they're often one of the biggest factors that increase the value of a coin. With the 1985 nickel, there are a few potential errors that can make this coin incredibly valuable. So, let's talk about some of these minting errors that could be hiding in your collection. One of the most common errors found on the 1985 nickel is the double die error. This occurs when the coin die, the metal tool used to strike the image onto the coin, shifts slightly during the minting process. As a result, the design on the coin becomes doubled, or it looks like the image has been struck more than once. This can be most noticeable on the date, the letters, and even parts of Jefferson's portrait. If you happen to find a 1985 nickel with this type of error, you're in luck because this particular variety can command a premium price in the market. Another error to look out for is the clash die error. This happens when two coin dies collide during the minting process without a planchet, the blank coin, in between them. The result? You end up with faint impressions of the opposite die on the coin. For example, if you find a 1985 nickel with a small, barely noticeable design or text from the obverse, Jefferson's portrait, on the reverse, Monticello, you may have stumbled upon a coin with a clash die error. Collectors are always on the lookout for these types of coins because they're not only rare but also incredibly intriguing to study. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if my 1985 nickel is valuable? It all comes down to two things: rarity and condition. You see, even though there are some rare errors on the 1985 nickel, finding one in great condition can make all the difference. Coins that have minimal wear, no visible damage, and maintain their original luster are far more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated or scratched up. If you have a 1985 nickel that is in near mint or uncirculated condition, this could significantly increase its value. In fact, a 1985 nickel in pristine condition, especially one with an error like a double die or clashed die, can be worth thousands of dollars. Yes, that's right, thousands. The combination of rarity, the error type, and the condition of the coin can all contribute to a significant jump in its value. So, if you have a 1985 nickel that you think might be in great shape, it's definitely worth having it professionally graded by a certified coin grading service. The grade will help determine the coin's market value and ensure that it's appropriately evaluated for collectors. So, now you're probably asking, how much could a 1985 nickel actually be worth? Well, depending on the condition, type of error, and collector demand, the value of a 1985 nickel can range dramatically. In the case of particularly rare examples with minting errors, it's not unheard of for these coins to be worth up to $44,000 in words. That's right, a single 1985 nickel could be worth a whopping $44,000 if it checks all the right boxes. Just imagine finding one of these gems in your pocket change. It could be a life-changing discovery. Now, I know what you're thinking. How likely is it that I'll find a 1985 nickel with a rare error in such great condition? While it's true that finding one of these coins isn't exactly common, the hunt is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Many coin collectors spend years searching for rare varieties and errors, and it's that sense of adventure that keeps them going. The good news is, with a keen eye and a bit of patience, you might just find the next big coin that could turn your collection into a small fortune. So, if you're out there searching through your pocket change, going through rolls of coins, or even browsing through estate sales and coin shops, don't overlook that 1985 nickel. It could be the one that holds a rare minting error or is in such good condition that it becomes highly sought after by collectors. To wrap it all up, while the 1985 United States 5-cent nickel might seem like an ordinary coin at first glance, its potential for rarity, minting errors, and great condition could make it worth a small fortune. If you find one with a double die, clashed die, or another rare feature, and it's in great condition, you could be holding a coin worth $44,000 in words. Yes, that's right, $44,000. So, keep your eyes peeled and continue your search for valuable coins. And remember, coin collecting is not only about finding rare pieces, but it's also about learning the history and the stories behind each coin. Today, we're going to talk about a coin that might have slipped under your radar but holds quite a bit of value if you know what to look for. We're diving into the world of the 1991 United States 5-cent nickel. That's right, this seemingly simple coin could be worth much more than just a nickel, depending on its condition and potential errors. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be checking your change for this particular gem, and you might just end up with a fortune on your hands. At first glance, the 1991 nickel might seem like a run-of-the-mill piece of currency. It features the well-known image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, designed by Felix Schlag, and on the reverse, you'll see the iconic image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. This design has been in use for decades, but it's the little details and rare mistakes on certain 1991 nickels that can make them stand out among the thousands of other coins in circulation. Let's start with the basics. Most of the 1991 nickels you'll come across are not going to be worth much more than their face value of 5 cents. But, as with many coins, the value increases when rare features or errors are present. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about the year a coin was minted, but also about the hidden surprises that make it unique and valuable. So, what exactly makes a 1991 nickel special? Let's break it down. Point 1: of the most exciting aspects of the 1991 nickel is the potential for minting errors. These errors happen when something goes wrong during the striking process, leading to a coin that is different from the standard issue. Minting errors are often the key to unlocking a coin's true value, and the 1991 nickel is no exception. A few common and rare errors have been found on these nickels, and discovering one can seriously increase the value of your coin. For instance, some 1991 nickels are known to have been struck off-center. This means that the design didn't align properly when it was stamped onto the coin, causing part of the image to be cut off. This kind of mistake is rare and, depending on the degree of the off-center strike, can make the coin highly collectible. If you have a 1991 nickel with a noticeable off-center strike, it could be worth much more than just a few cents. Collectors love these types of errors because they are unique, and each one tells a story about the minting process. Another error that could boost the value of your 1991 nickel is the double die error. This happens when the coin die is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to be struck twice. The result is a doubling effect on certain parts of the coin, like the date or the letters. In the case of the 1991 nickel, a double die error could cause the year 1991 or the word liberty to appear doubled, giving the coin an unmistakable look. These doubled coins are highly prized by collectors, and they can fetch a pretty penny in the market. Another potential error that collectors are always on the lookout for is the die crack error. This occurs when cracks form on the coin die due to wear and tear. When these cracks strike the coin, they leave visible lines or cracks on the coin itself. These die cracks can appear in various places on the 1991 nickel, such as along Jefferson's neck or near the edge of the coin. While this might not be as dramatic as a double die error, die cracks still add a level of rarity and uniqueness that can raise the coin's value. So, you might be wondering, how do you determine the worth of your 1991 nickel? It all comes down to two factors: rarity and condition. While the 1991 nickel itself is not particularly rare, finding one with a minting error or in excellent condition can make all the difference. Coins that are in excellent or near mint condition, with no visible wear or scratches, are far more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. So, if you happen to have a 1991 nickel that looks as good as new, or if it has one of the rare errors we've mentioned, then you might have a coin that's worth far more than 5 cents. You might be asking yourself, how much could a 1991 nickel with a minting error actually be worth? Well, the price can vary greatly depending on the type of error and the coin's overall condition. Some 1991 nickels with unique errors, such as a double die or off-center strike, have been known to sell for thousands of dollars. In fact, a well-preserved 1991 nickel with one of these rare errors could fetch as much as $38,600 in words. Yes, that's right, $38,600 for a single nickel. It's hard to believe, but it's true. And this price can only increase over time as more collectors seek out these rare coins. Now, before you rush to your coin jar or start scanning your pocket change, remember that not every 1991 nickel is going to be worth thousands of dollars. It's all about finding the right one with the right combination of rarity and condition. But don't be discouraged. Every great coin collector starts by carefully examining their coins and searching for those hidden treasures. If you have the patience to sift through your collection and spot those rare errors, you could be on the verge of discovering a true gem. To summarize, the 1991 United States 5-cent nickel might seem like just another coin, but with the right minting errors and in excellent condition, it could be worth thousands of dollars. From double die errors to off-center strikes and die cracks, there are many ways that this seemingly common nickel can become a highly valuable collectible. And who knows? You might just have one sitting in your change jar right now, so, the next time you come across a 1991 nickel, take a closer look. Examine the date, the letters, and the overall condition of the coin. You never know, your 5-cent piece could be worth much more than face value. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell for more exciting coin finds. Happy collecting, and good luck on your treasure hunt.